Today we're diving into the incredible power of movement and energy flow, specifically through the ancient practice of Qi Gong. If you've ever felt stuck, sluggish, or just out of sync, this is for you. Qi Gong is a powerful combination of movement, breathwork, and meditation that helps to balance and enhance the flow of energy, also known as Qi, throughout your body. Think of it like giving your energy a tune-up so it flows effortlessly, keeping you vibrant and strong. And the best part? You don't need to spend hours of practice or have crazy flexibility to feel the benefits. And stay till the end, as I'll even have an expert, Anita Ho from Wutan, to guide us through some simple yet powerful Tai Chi movements that evolved from Qigong. It will help to boost your energy, balance, and vitality. Let's get started. Before we get into the movements, let's talk about what Qigong actually is. Qigong is an ancient Chinese practice that dates back over 4,000 years. It combines gentle movements, controlled breathing, and focused intention to cultivate and balance the body's energy, also known as Qi or life force energy. It's deeply rooted in traditional Chinese medicine and has been used for centuries to promote health, longevity, and inner harmony. Unlike intense workouts that burn energy, Qigong generates and circulates energy, helping you feel revitalized rather than drained. Think of it as a way to gently recharge your internal battery. Medical Qigong is deeply rooted in traditional Chinese medicine and is used for self-healing, disease prevention, and overall energy balancing. Practitioners learn how to sense, diagnose, and correct energy imbalances in the body, which can include visualization, breathwork, and movement to activate the body's natural healing mechanisms. Think of it like acupuncture without the needles, where you're directing energy to remove blockages and restore harmony within. Martial Qigong is practiced by martial artists to develop internal power and physical strength. The focus is on building and harnessing energy to improve endurance, resilience, and striking force. It combines breath control with intense physical postures and mental focus, helping practitioners become more grounded and powerful. Martial Qigong often involves training the body to store and release qi effectively during combat or self-defense. Spiritual Qigong is centered around personal growth, spiritual awakening, and connecting with universal energy. It emphasizes stillness, meditation, and inward focus, often incorporating mantras and visualizations. The goal here is to purify the mind, expand consciousness, and cultivate virtues like compassion, patience, and wisdom. It's like energy meditation, guiding you to transcend the ego and align with higher states of being. And finally, Health and Wellness Qigong is the most accessible and commonly practiced form, and it's all about promoting relaxation, vitality, and emotional balance. The movements are gentle, flowing, and suitable for all ages and fitness levels. This type helps maintain good health, reduce stress, and improve overall energy circulation. It's perfect for daily practice and is the most widely practiced type of Qigong, promoting relaxation and overall well-being. So what exactly is Qi? In traditional Chinese medicine, Qi is the vital life force that flows through everything, our bodies, nature, and even the universe. When Qi is balanced and flows smoothly, we experience vitality, clarity, and overall well-being. When it's blocked or stagnant, we may feel fatigued, stressed, or physically unwell. Qigong is designed to remove these blockages and enhance the natural flow of energy, leading to greater health and inner peace. Imagine Qi as water flowing through a river. When it's clear and unobstructed, everything thrives, and when it's blocked, stagnation occurs. Qigong helps to keep that river of energy flowing effortlessly. The concept of universal life force energy isn't exclusive to Chinese culture. In fact, I talk more about this in one of my other videos, What is Energy?, where I explore how many ancient civilizations and cultures across the world have their own version of this idea. The names may differ, whether it's Qi in China, Prana in India, or Qi in Japan, but they all point to the same fundamental truth. There's a subtle, vital energy that animates all living beings. In my own practice, I use the term prana as I work with pranic healing, but at the core, we're speaking about the same universal force. This is why I love talking about energy as a whole, not just the modality that I practice, because every person is unique and different people are naturally drawn to different approaches. What matters most is finding what resonates with you. It's important to stay open and curious to explore and find the path that aligns with your energy, your needs, and your way of experiencing the world. One of the most amazing things about Qigong is how it positively impacts every aspect of our well-being, physical, emotional, and mental. In physical health, Qigong improves circulation, balance, and flexibility. It helps to strengthen the immune system, support digestion, and even helps with chronic pain. Many people use Qigong to recover from illness or injury because of its gentle yet effective healing properties. Ever feel like emotions get trapped in your body? Well, Qigong helps release stuck emotional energy, reducing stress, anxiety, and emotional overwhelm. It promotes a sense of peace and emotional resilience. With its meditative movements, the practice of Qigong helps calm the mind, sharpen focus, and enhance mindfulness. If you struggle with overthinking or mental fog, this practice can help you feel more centered and clear-headed. Now, before we jump into the demonstration, let's talk about Tai Chi and how it connects to Qi Gong. Tai Chi evolved from Qigong and traditional martial arts around 700 years ago. While Qigong focuses on energy cultivation and healing, Tai Chi takes that energy and puts it into structured motion, almost like a flowing meditation. It's a more dynamic practice that emphasizes continuous, graceful movements designed to improve balance, coordination, and internal energy flow. Many people practice Tai Chi for its physical and mental benefits, but its roots are deeply connected to Qigong. Anita Ho will guide us through 9 Qigong and Tai Chi movements that you can practice every day. Although they're simple and easy to do, the benefits to your body and mind are incredible, so feel free to follow along so you can experience its flowing energy firsthand. After this, she'll even demonstrate part of the Yang short form sequence, a very technical and challenging set of moves to master, but you'll see how beautiful and effortless she makes it look.
Well, one of the first things I love to teach everybody is to sit better.
Okay.
There was a headline in some newspaper recently, I was told by somebody, it was something like, sitting is as bad as smoking, because the effect of sitting could affect your physical health and your mental health as much as smoking. It causes you to slouch, and also that mental thought of inactivity. So there is, funny enough, even the posture of sitting gives you a mental thought. I love to give a little bit of a tip of how to sit well, so that it helps you to do whatever it is you do, like sitting for a long time. Or, like Darren in class, he was a long-distance lorry driver, so he was in this static position like this all day. Anyway, so when you're sitting, learn to imagine that you're not sitting on a chair, that you're sitting on a stool and there's nothing behind you. So make sure both of your feet is on the floor. And if you can, either have your knee level with your hip or your knee is below your hip. Okay? And then press on your legs to make your back sit straighter and not sort of C-shape your back, yeah? Okay. So
this would be good for people at a desk?
At a desk, yeah. Or whatever job that, you know, whatever it is during sitting. If you're in the car, in a long drive, yeah.
So using your legs while you're seated will help your posture.
Yeah. And if you've got to use the pedals, you can still use your legs to push your back up. And you can still use your legs. So think about using your core and your legs to keep your back straight. But if you can, have both feet on the floor.
Okay.
And then, can you see I'm sitting up much taller?
Yeah.
And
then what about
position.
standing up from this position?
And standing up from this position, adjust your feet, and make sure you can press on it, and then you should be able to get up without doing this sort of thing. A lot of people do this sort of thing, and they haven't used their legs at all. They've used their arm, they've used their back.
Right, yes, exactly.
Why not use the bigger sets of muscles in your body? Your glutes are the biggest individual muscles in your body. Your quads are the biggest sets, and you have 2 of them. But when a lot of people get up, do not use any of those, but they use their arm muscles. They try and use their back muscles, which are very thin and very weak.
That's why sometimes when people are standing, you can hear them groan and hold their backs.
Yeah, because they're trying to use their back muscles to pull them up. Okay. Yeah, so why not?
Simple.
Yeah,
but
it's hard work.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've got to think about it. And then it will become a habit. A habit is only something that you do without thinking. There is no such thing as good habits or bad habits. Habit is just something that you do habitually. English is a very good word, a language to it. You do things out of habit because you do it habitually. You keep doing the same thing. It isn't right or wrong or good or bad. So my habit to get up now is always this.
Yeah. So that, again, is a very practical way of just using some of the basic principles
of how a body works.
Of how our body works.
And how not to hurt yourself.
Okay. Let's move on to maybe doing a few...
Breathing.
Breathing. And then we can do a few movements.
Yeah, okay.
As well.
This is all easy stuff. Breathing, standing or sitting. Learn to breathe in through your nose. And really learn to breathe through your nose. Simple thing to think about is imagine that you're smelling something. When you smell something, try and close your mouth. You can't. Open your mouth and try and smell, you can't. Yeah, so close your mouth and really think about, quite often it's a food for some people. So really think about that food and almost think about the taste of the back of your throat, because then you bring your tongue into play. And if you can, touch the tongue to the roof of your mouth, because it opens your throat. Okay. Yeah, do it with or without the tongue, and you'll find that it's a different amount that you can take in. So think of a nice smell. Oh, the chocolate. I always make a joke of this one, is the food experience without the calories. Okay, so think of chocolate, think of the, crispy donuts, that sort of slightly oily smell. So really think of a smell. And it's so nice that you sigh. And just doing a few of those make you feel better.
And both of these techniques that you've just talked about are things that we do every day. So it's not even doing something else or taking time out. You need to breathe. You need to sit. So it's just being more mindful of how you're doing it.
And changing your habit to be a good habit. I'm not asking you to deep breathe all day, every day, because then that is just impossible to do. But what is useful to do is maybe first thing in the morning when you get up, or when you take a break from work or something, you before you go to the toilet or before you get up and go and get a cup of coffee, just be still and just take a few breaths and then go off and do something. The other thing that is really useful for is when you've done them well and you're all saying, it's to put your body back in a better place rather than keep stressing it out, because when you're like this, you are stressing parts of your body, as in you're overworking it, putting it in a position that it's not supposed to be. Yeah, your spine is not supposed to be in a C shape. It's supposed to be in an S shape. And when we sit with a back, even with supports, and especially this elevating your feet up so that your knee joint is above your hip, is really encouraging your tailbone to be tucked right under, and then you've got a complete C shape in your back. Statistically, I believe a lower back problem is quite high compared to upper back problems. I had a little bit of that, yeah. And several of my students have had their, bones fused together to stop the pain and all of that. Because in Western medicine, that's the only thing that they can help you do, is to lock them, stop them from moving. Now, the other thing about breathing is to learn to use the breath itself to do what it needs to do. The in-breath is to try and fill you up with fresh air. But you cannot fill your lungs with fresh air until you've emptied it. Mm. So in fact, for a lot of people who don't do this martial art Qigong breathing, is to learn to breathe out well first. Okay. Yeah. So take a breath for me. And then empty it as best you can. And as long as you can, and as long as you can, as long as you can. Now take a deep breath in. It's much bigger, isn't it? It's much longer because you've emptied it, so you can fill it. If you leave some of it in, it cannot be filled with fresh.
And when you think about it, okay, which again we don't normally think about things like this. It's common sense,
isn't it?
But sometimes you need somebody to
tell you.
Exactly.
Yeah, and one of the I'm told that if you put horrible things in people's minds, it really gels with them. Right, so I always think that if you don't empty the toilet, it won't be clean. Yeah, flush the toilet, get rid of the rubbish.
Okay, this is something I'll definitely remember. So yes,
yeah,
you're correct.
You can't have fresh air in if you leave any there. Yeah, if you have a bucket of water and you leave a little bit of dirt at the bottom, you fill up where it still looks a bit dirty. You have to empty it, including cleaning all the rubbish off, before you can put fresh water in.
So let's do one standing up. I'm just going to move this to the side so that you have a little bit more room, and let me just make sure I can capture you here. Wonderful.
Okay, so when you've stood up from the chair, your feet are still as wide as your shoulders, as wide as your hip, and you're using your feet as well as you can. Imagine though, even though you're standing and you're supposed to be doing exercise, imagine that you're sitting. So you bend your knees, hips a little bit, and your ankles a little bit soft and not, So don't put too much effort into it, as in, I'm having a little sit. Think sit. But in fact, when you do that, you're working your leg muscles a lot harder than if you locked your knees. You do rest your muscles when you lock your joints. Yeah, but if you use your joints, the muscles on either side of those joints has to work to hold them there. Okay, so do think about sitting.
And I know in class you tend to tell us always to sink a bit lower.
Yeah.
Is that, well, it obviously works your muscles more.
Harder, yeah.
Okay.
And all sorts of other things. If you fall and you're lower, you fall, you're closer to the floor. Your centre of gravity, you're less likely to fall if your centre of gravity is closer to the ground. Okay. So if you have a risk of falling, bend your knees and be softer. The other simple thing to think about in terms of falling and forces, a handkerchief, if you are soft, you just collapse. Mm-hmm. Whereas if you are rigid and you fall, you will bang and hit yourself and hurt yourself. And that's also, again, why some people come to the class. They said, I need to improve. I have got no balance. I need to balance. Well, the only thing I can teach you is how to get the balance. I can't do some voodoo magic and says, now you have balance. I will teach you how you get balance. And the first thing you do balance is to be able to know what's going on under your feet, the soles of your feet, yeah, is to be able to feel your feet. And that's why it's good in class to come with flat shoes or thick socks or whatever, okay? And learn to use your feet the way they were made to be used. They were not made to be constricted, yeah? So if you can, whenever you can, is let your feet spread out. So the bigger contact with the floor, the more information you have, and also you're more likely to stay upright, aren't you? Okay. Yeah, you spread yourself out, okay? So feel your feet. So it's just when you're not feeling too good, just stand up, yeah? Use your feet but still think sitting, and then just do a few breaths.
Now, can you do something that combines your posture with your breath with some movement?
Ooh, 8 pieces of brocade. I love this one. Breathing in and out. Everything moves together. My legs, my arms going up together, and everything comes down together. You breathe in and you breathe out. And remember, your out breath is a little bit longer than your in breath. And I teach a rhythm of 4 in and 6 out to start with. That's an easy one to get people using. Especially on the out breath, a lot of people end up doing it too fast. Use your arm as if it's the clock face. So 4 in, so it goes like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. And out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. As you can see, my hands is on the clock face. Yeah, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock is halfway, 5, 6. Yeah, so yeah, that's a really useful one to help you to get that rhythm of a slightly shorter in breath and an out breath. Okay. To really learn.
And what would you do that primarily for? Just to calm yourself, ground yourself?
Yeah. As an engineer, I did a lot of concentrating on bits of paper or on the screen, and after a little while, I haven't breathed. Sometimes when you concentrate so hard on something external, not within you, you do hold your breath. And I remember sometimes I go, and then all we do in those days was pant. Yeah. And then we wonder why we feel a bit funny, because when you take too much breath in, but you haven't emptied your breath, what's the science behind that? Your body does not sense how much oxygen you get in. What your body does then is how much carbon dioxide you have in. So the less you breathe out, the more you keep bringing in more fresh air. Into proportion of oxygen to carbon dioxide, you're having more and more carbon dioxide. And that's what your body actually feels. So if you're feeling a bit, the first thing you must do is.
So for example, if somebody has a desk job, if they took a break every hour or every...
They say every half an hour, didn't they? Even 20 minutes, they say.
Just taking a few minutes out and maybe even sitting properly and breathing properly and even doing something like how you were doing the hand.
It doesn't even have to be a few... A few of these would only take you 1 or 2 minutes.
Yeah.
1 or 2 minutes. That's the other thing I noticed, that what all of this training has done for me. It has made my mind so much more healthy. Therefore, I can use it to tackle all the problems I have and all the thinking I have.
And you're more productive, you're more
because
efficient.
You're more productive.
Yes.
People say to me quite often, say, I haven't got time to come to your class.
Yeah.
But they do have time to carry on working badly and poorly with what they've got. Yeah. So it is not, can you find the time to do better? And the only way I can do that is going to do this.
Yeah.
And then I will.
It's like having a mobile phone or a cell phone and not charging it and having it on 1%, 2%. You're not going to get a lot out of it until you stop, charge it, and then you're going to get more
Absolutely,
efficient use out of it. Or driving a car that has no petrol.
It's
right?
you know, we think that working long hours mean we're more productive, but the longer hours mean you're tired, and it's probably rubbish that you're doing if you're doing any work at all. I remember doing that at work. So yeah, take the time to not put up with what you think you're not doing very well, and do something about it.
Do you have a move that can help invigorate someone? Let's say you're working on a project and you're feeling sleepy or something. Is there something that you can do?
Just that simple. Do use that thought of something nice.
Okay.
For me, it isn't food. It's the visual memory of walking in the woods. For some people, it's the seaside. So when you smell, think of that seaside smell, which is that slightly salty smell. And also that wind in your face. Feel the wind.
Using your senses.
Feeling is using your memory. And do you remember that for people who have Alzheimer's, they say is to activate their memory. That will get their brain going. Because Alzheimer's is a lot about your brain dying and not being used. But funny enough, when you ask people to remember something, their brain sort of wakes up again.
Ah, is this part of Qigong or Tai Chi, or is this just alongside, like a
This is the way we think.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, and visualization is one of those tools as part of thinking.
So it does combine quite a lot.
Yeah. And again, my research into what does visualization do for you, including why we think in the martial art Tai Chi, we said, imagine somebody's going to punch you or they're going to kick you, and this is what you're going to do about it. Visualization can improve your performance by as much as 17%. Again, modern science have done experiments to show that. So I'm giving you factual thing of how your brain works. So if you really imagine that you are at the seaside and you are feeling the wind and the sea salt and everything, that just makes you feel better.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's a very helpful tip and something that everyone can do.
Yeah, everyone can do. So the other thing about if you are one of those people that can't get going, you want to stay in bed, you want to stay sitting, slouch, one of the simple things you can do is this. And we do this a lot, this is sliding your fingers along each other.
Okay.
Now, what's the science behind that? You've got millions of nerve endings on your hand, including on the side of your fingers. Mm-hmm. But how often do we use those nerve endings?
Oh, wow.
We never do. We only ever use that. But we have nerve endings on the side.
So
they're
the
static.
Act of sliding your fingers together, and it's not necessarily about lifting it over your head.
You don't have to. Just
else.
slide your finger and feel that. And I don't know about you, I can feel my brain going,
okay.
Because you are sending signal.
I've never heard of that.
Yeah. It's part of my, I'm trying to broaden my Tai Chi, Qi Gong training to incorporate a bit more Chinese medicines as part of my learning. And that's one of those things, is using these things, And also each of your fingers is associated with one of your major organs. So using all these Tai Chi moves that uses your fingers in certain ways is stimulating and using those organs. So if you're one of those people that you have a problem getting your mind going because you're physically, from getting up or being static, it's just to do this. But slowly and carefully, and really think about.
And nobody has to. Well, nobody's going to think anything because it's not.
And some people do hold their hand like this as well, don't they? Yeah. But if you think, I could get, just feel it.
Thank you.
It's very simple. The first form that I teach in our school is the traditional Yang short form with 37 moves. Moves of 37 in sequence. It's actually more than that, but the official 37. Anyway, there is one part of it called cloud hands, And it looks vaguely like this. It looks like you're walking sideways and you're waving your hands like cloud. And you've heard people say this. I'm waving my hands like cloud and I'm going sideways. You know, why is that martial art? But in fact, it is martial art because I can do it standing still. This is a block. If a punch comes, I'm blocking it. My hand is here in case they pick their knee up or their leg up to kick you. I'm blocking a punch, but I'm also looking after my body. Okay, so it's a block. They change their hand, so I block the other way. They change their hand, so somebody's punching you like this. So you're blocking, blocking, blocking. So that's cloud hands. And it looks like I'm drawing clouds. Yeah, and it looks very soft. Yeah, and the reason for doing it softly, I am not doing a block. I am not going across. If you can look, if you can see, I'm actually going in a circular motion. So I'm deflecting. If a punch comes, I meet the punch and I'm letting it slide. It's going that way. I am not blocking. I'm not doing this. I'm keeping my arm still. Your arm looks like they're moving because you use your body. My arm is not moving. They change over, but they don't move at all to do the block. Because it's not a block, it's actually a deflect. That's all I'm doing. So I'm teaching you to look after yourself here. You might get hurt, but you should be hurt less. And you might be doing a lot to help yourself.
Okay, thank you so much.
Okay?
Yeah. If you followed along with the movements, you'll know exactly what I mean. These practices are simple, gentle, and don't demand hours of your time. I've been taking Anita's classes every week, and I can honestly say the shift has been powerful. My balance has improved, my focus has sharpened, and even after a short session, I feel like my whole system has been reset. It's subtle, yet deeply effective. My muscles feel alive, my body lighter, and my mind noticeably clearer. That's the beauty of Qigong and Tai Chi. You don't need to go hard or fast. It's not about intensity, it's about presence and consistency. Just 5 to 10 minutes a day can truly change how you feel, move, and think. So if you're curious to dive deeper, be sure to check out my full Energy Talks interview with Anita Ho. She shares her incredible journey from being a systems engineer to stepping fully into the world of Qigong and Tai Chi. It's a story of transformation, courage, and following the energy where it leads. Thanks so much for watching. Until next time, take care, stay curious, and embrace the endless possibilities of your energy journey.